Beautiful ashes, I'm rising from the ground again. Dancing through damage, my broken heart is learning to bend. You thought I was over, but look at me glow in the wind.
We welcome you viewers to our second episode of Beautiful Ashes with Auntie Mercy, a program designed to encourage and inspire someone out there. Life has so many challenges, and last week we had a special guest who was explaining to us and giving us a testimony of his journey through the drug and alcohol abuse. That was Evangelist Brian Chishimba, and today we have him back again so that we may continue, we may understand and learn from his story how we can walk this journey, how we can help each other, and how we can overcome a journey of drug abuse and alcohol abuse. We take a break, and when we come back, we will continue with our story.
I'm rising from the ground again.
In a world of endless choices, there's only one destination that brings the entire spectrum of entertainment into focus. This is BMTV, where your world comes to life.
I'm 100% okay.
Maybe you can try and help me by buying a dog so that we are the two of us.
Experience the human stories that everyone is talking about, from the unscripted dramas of our premier reality hits to the moments that move us. We capture life as it happens, authentic and unmissable. Stay ahead of the curve with the BMTV talk show lineup. Join the conversation as we dive deep with the icons of today, bringing you exclusive interviews, expert insights, and the perspectives that shape our culture.
We're proud of you. You've done so well on pushing the words out there, raising our flag.
When it's time to escape, our original scripted series deliver world-class storytelling, compelling characters, breathtaking cinematography, and the kind of drama that keeps you on the edge of your seat, episode after episode.
You refer to me as a whore.
So it's true you can get someone out of the ghetto, but you can't get the ghetto out of their mind.
And when the weekend arrives, we bring the cinema to your living room. Saturday night movies on BMTV. The biggest local blockbusters and timeless classics presented exactly the way they were meant to be seen.
What if it is true? What if someone did kill my father?
From the hottest music chart toppers to non-stop entertainment news, we provide the heartbeat of your home.
What was the purpose of even sometimes getting to camp in Europe? What did we learn from that?
BMTV, reality, conversation, culture, cinema, comedy. It is all here on Topsa Channel 114. BMTV, Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
Beautiful ashes, I'm rising from the ground again.
Welcome back, viewers. We continue with Evangelist Brian Chishimba. We have him in the studio once again today. Welcome, Evangelist.
Thank you very much, Aunt Mercy. I'm happy to be here. Greetings to viewers and listeners.
We are happy to have you once again, and I would love us to just give a brief background, snippets of what we discussed last week, just briefly for those viewers that were not watching last week.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm a person who struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for a period of 14 years, suffered academic setbacks. I've been an A+ student, was at one time suspended twice at Hillcrest National Technical School, the school we used to call the cream of the nation, and also eventually expelled from there. I was allowed to sit for my grade 12 exams, went to Copperbelt University. Again at Copperbelt University, I was unable to sit for final exams, so I felt like I was an academic failure because of that, I attempted to commit suicide. So I threw myself, hit on the ground from the first floor, hit on the ground, had my front teeth broken, like I shared. I shared in the last incident, in the last episode, where that these teeth are just dentures. Yeah, from there, I was unable to finish my degree, found a job in the government. I got married. The woman I was married to could also not cope with my alcohol and drug addiction. She filed for a divorce and eventually divorced me. Then I got depressed. I started doing all sorts of things in my drunken stupor. At one time, I even committed an offense. I destroyed campaign posters, tearing them in my drunken state. I was arrested and remanded in prison. But by the grace of God, I came out of prison, and because of the candidate who came to withdraw the case. Yeah, from there, I was now transferred to Lusaka in an ambulance because I was very sick, taken to Chainama. Chainama, I was diagnosed with HIV. I was also diagnosed with liver damage, also neuropsychiatric squilea condition as a result of poor controlled retroviral disease. And eventually I even lost my employment. I became destitute, and it only had to take the power of God in 2016. Of course, through God's intervention, I committed myself to change and underwent psychotherapy and treatment. As we are speaking today, I am 9 years, 10 months, and 17 days alcohol and drug sobriety as at today.
Congratulations. Congratulations about that.
Thank you very much.
Now, could you share with the people that are watching, at what age did you start drugs, and what was the influence behind you starting that?
Okay. The main influence, I think, which really compelled me was at the age of 16 years, when I was in grade 10. For me, I loved school very much. And every time I would wake up is study. 05, I'm studying. Such that at my grade 9 grade, I was one of the best students. I got 512 marks, went to Hillcrest. So now I reached Hillcrest. Because of that love for school, I had no plans like other guys would have plans to go and drink, party. So for me, they started calling me Stongwani. Stongwani, it's a Lozi name, which means a hyena. So
in that
like
case,
Chimbwino plan, yeah.
Okay, you are saying that for you, your main desire was to advance in education.
Yes. That academic vigor.
But what was the strong activity? What was it exactly? Can you explain to us exactly what it was that caused you from moving from being called a Stongwani, a bookworm, into going into the total opposite? Because from what you're saying, you had vision.
Yeah, I had vision.
You were focused. You were saying in a life yandi ndefaika befi ine mabuku fye nomba chinshi chaishire chinja ni chani china chinja paja kuti muchoke ku mabuku manje mugwele mungeneke muri ivi vinango.
Yeah, so like they used to call me Valenjita Stongwani. Stongwani it means a hyena. It's a Lozi name, means a hyena. And translated like Chimbwino plan. Like me, Nikonda Cheva Skuru. I don't love smoking. I don't. So now the same people who used to call me that name, after I found them, they were in the room. They were drinking. So they invited me. So it was just an impulse decision where they tell you, come and partake. You have that vision. Then at that moment, it's like I forgot about everything. Then I had to like accept, of course, which we can call peer pressure. So I accepted to drink. So the first time was the most damaging one, in fact, because when I drank, I felt high. So I realized that there's this other life. So I got high, and I didn't know to what extent it would take me. So I was able to talk to girls at that time, telling them that I love you, because I was drunk now. So I realized that there's this good feeling. But
so
at
that's
the
the
end,
feeling, that's the feeling you got out of the alcohol.
that is the one I got out of alcohol.
Did you feel a sense of freedom, a sense of joy? What could you say that before you took the alcohol, you felt you were feeling maybe ukuba sad, ukuba lonely, fili okuba to pantu nchite sango n'abananti pantu balenseka uloshani. So ili omwana we n'obwalwa bushinomba chalisa umfika kwati life iyi nomba nafika pali abanandi.
Not really. For me, I was a happy guy in school. Always, in fact, I was even part of the comedians. I would make that comedy. I was known. But now, I think when I took, it just now increased on that negative behavior, which I was already maybe portraying. Because I was ever talkative, making noisy, but I was determined in my academic vision. Yeah, very determined. But now when I took alcohol, I lost it because I felt now that euphoria now. I was high for the first time. I was drunk. Even the lady I used to love in school, the one I was unable to talk to, I followed her that day. To go and talk to her. Iwe isakuno. So to run, then you see. So I had that courage. And I didn't know. So, and now what happened was now I was looking forward to drink again.
So from that,
yes, I started looking
from
forward.
that very first moment, when you took that alcohol, what next? How often were you now going back to taking that alcohol?
Yeah, the
and
next time, because I was scared that if they catch me, I may be suspended from school. So the only day I knew I could drink is when we closed school, because it was a boarding. So I knew that the day we are closing school, I would definitely drink. So and the time we closed school, I drank, such that I slept. And those days I remember buses used to come. There were some people who could organize buses speakers from Hillcrest. Then they go and park in town. Then they would tell us 03 to Araima. Like what it used to be like in school, they would organize a bus, Dama students, and it would come, you pay in advance. Then busing gaya isayami senda mwa parking. Yala amku parking am town. So gaya parking am town muda. Then the driver will say, okay, this is maybe it picks you at 14. Then the driver tells you 03 we are starting off. So kangaleniko. I took advantage of that. I drank again. Then I slept all the way until, because I was just told that they just picked me where we were drinking. That time there was a nightclub where they used to sell mobile like. So they picked me from that because I had blacked out and threw me in the bus. I woke up, I think somewhere like Mazabuka around where I heading. Yeah, that's where I woke up. I said, oh. Then we reached. So I couldn't go home because I was scared my uncle. Because I lost both parents. I was only raised by my grandma. So it was my uncle who had made a decision for me, a positive decision to relocate me from Kabwe and enrolled me at Kablonga Boys. So he was the one who was taking care of me. So I was scared that if I reach home again, I'm smelling beer. So I had to wait in town.
Okay.
I waited in town. Then I went home around 18. So when I reached, he said, how come? You closed, you've reached this time. Where were you? Then I just said, bus yachi fwa, and I'm very tired, and yet I had the hangover. So I slept. So when my uncle looked at me, he came again to the bedroom. He says, you're not feeling well. And he was a doctor. So that's how we went and bought some antibiotics and malaria drugs, and he brought to me, take this. So because he saw I was weak. So from that time, I felt very bad. I knew that the thing I had done was very bad because it was against my wish. Because the reason why my uncle picked me, and sometimes when I start sharing this story, it makes me very emotional. It's like we're going deep into it. Because myself, I knew that where I'm coming from, both my parents are dead. My sister died. And my grandmother was looking up to me. My uncle was looking up to me that I'm going to be an academic muscle, somebody who is going to liberate the family. I knew. But again, because of that euphoria, that high, the high was attracting me. It's good that I'm now even a mental health clinician, so I understand. So that dopamine which was released, the brain had recorded in my brain that this is good for survival, and I needed it. So no matter whatever was happening in my life, I was looking forward. So again, the next time to drink was the time my uncle would give me now money to go back to school. So again, I drank. Now, unfortunately, the time I was going back to school, I was caught. Because
so what you are saying is that throughout the period of the holiday, when you were on holiday, you did not touch
No,
alcohol.
I didn't. No, I didn't touch.
Until the time now that you were going back.
Until the time I was going back again, because that time now even gave me money, and he used to give me a lot of money because he had trusted me, he loved me, and I think because his sister. So every time my mother was his sister, so every time he would look at me, he would think of his sister. So he would take care of us very well. So he would give maybe sometimes excess money. Sometimes he would give you more than you need. Because I don't know if himself he was feeling like that's the way you love me. But he used to give me a lot of money. So the time I was going back again, I bought again alcohol. And that time now, when we reached in school, I found a friend of mine now. May his soul rest in peace. Yeah, so this friend of mine told me that, you see, that alcohol, kuribufamene imveka hiyo. Bwera umvereko akafuti. So that's how he introduced me now to marijuana now. Okay.
So the type of alcohol that you were taking, was it illicit alcohol or it's the controlled kind of alcohol that one can just buy from the store?
We can say those were my illicit because by definition of illicit is any alcohol, for example, which comes in Zambia illegally. We define it as illicit. So you would find those spirits, the very cheap spirits. They were just brewed. Sometimes I think if it was this time, it would have even been like 20 kwacha. You buy, they've packed it nicely. You buy, you can just mention brand names, but would buy that one and would take. And after we take that, it was just like illicit, and it would crush you, make you high in a second. You feel so. Basically, me, I was taking spirits. I started smoking, and it was in the same first term of grade 11. I now even started now going now to go nightclubs, get sex workers again at the age of 17. My first sexual encounter, I don't even remember the name of that sex worker. So we just went, used our school fees, paid for sex, and it became so bad.
So the first time you took that marijuana, did you feel any sense of guilt? Like, now I'm losing control from alcohol. How am I finding myself now in marijuana?
The first time I took marijuana, the friend of mine introduced me to marijuana, I felt so nervous, such that I went and started reading the Bible because I got so scared. So I knew that because I started hearing voices, started hearing people talking who are not there. I could see. So I got so scared. So I got the Bible, a friend's Bible, and started reading. And my friends had gone for prep. We used to call it prep at 19 hours, 21 people would go and study. So me, I didn't go. That's how he introduced me. So I went to start reading the Bible.
So mwenzo ganza mkaverenga Bible ni chanchiza chitika.
I was thinking like I would be protected because I felt like I'm running mad. That was the first time. But again, after I got better, I started looking forward now to feeling that high.
So it's like the marijuana also triggered something.
Yeah, it's triggered.
You.
It's a hallucinogen. So it made me start having those hallucinations. So I started looking forward now to read again. So now the problem was now combining them now. Alcohol and marijuana. Combining them. And in grade 10, we went to drink. But we were so hungry, so we wanted to have some food.
Okay, if you can just hold on, hold that thought.
Thank you.
We continue. We take a break now, viewers. We're going to continue with this wonderful story. There's so much that we are learning from this, and we'll come back within a few minutes.
Beautiful
Stay put.
ashes, I'm rising from the ground again. Dancing through
Ehe, takonka iwe.
Wewe nzwamenya mzatu school.
Nafuna timishiteja.
Ona mga ungamenya mzatu soche za kushapula leo.
Bafana za kubulani. Mami. Mami.
I just wish we could spend the rest of our lives at the dam.
What are you doing here na mwana pasanga shua? Zembekiza maliro. Ndaro ambokuwa, right?
I want to get out of this dirty village of yours. Because nalema kwenda na nkote mwanga ye. Baiwanga, the problem inachitika ni kulu.
beautiful ashes, I'm rising from the ground again. Dancing through
Welcome back. We continue with Evangelist Brian Chishimba. Evangelist, you said that with the alcohol, you would only take it when you were with your friends and not at home because you had certain fears that they would find you out. But when you went back to school, you said you were now introduced even into marijuana.
Yeah.
So now, after those effects that you had of hallucinations, of fear, you began to hear voices. What would you say today, if you look back, you would advise someone out there not to do?
Yeah. Thank you very much. If I had an opportunity taken back, I think I could have understood who I am. I should have known who I am. We should know ourselves, because I think I lost it. One, it started causing academic failure. I started getting poor results because I was unable to read. And I was eventually suspended from Hillcrest. And my uncle knew about it. He had to come and pick me from school, where he was now shedding tears, crying because of the person I had become. My grandmother also cried because of the pain now she said, how come? What has happened? Why have you started this? And myself, I didn't know until I was a 6-point student. I was supposed to get 6 points. I didn't even show. Everyone would even say, I remember people would even say, Brand's intelligence was not yet revealed at Eucharist. No one knew that I was an intelligent guy because they only started knowing the other side of me. And I could have even missed it. It was just in a twinkling of an eye that I was allowed to go and write my grade 12. Otherwise, I was expelled. I could have not written. and most of some friends, as at to date, have failed to recover. In fact, that group, we used to call ourselves the Gambino crime family. We can say, I'm the only one. I can boldly say, by the grace of God, not that I'm very intelligent or very powerful. I'm the only one who has recovered and come back to testify. Others are still struggling. Others have died because of the same.
You mentioned the Gambino family.
We used to call ourselves.
Was that something you watched in the movies? Or?
Yeah. So we coined the term from the movies. Then we grouped ourselves now. That's who were abusing, that's who were notorious in school.
What kind of a movie was that? If I may ask, would you say that that same movie also had an influence on you as a group?
That was a movie had an influence on one of the guys. May he so rest in peace. He's the one who watched it. Then he came and said, I think this group is the Gambino. After he narrated the whole story, then we said, I think that's it. That's who we are. So that's how we became and called ourselves the Gambino crime family.
So kuti mwalando kwe bati namuli lelo ifintu vamene titamba vana vatamba pama movies, whether it's crime scenes,
yes,
it's drug related, they have an influence.
Yes, they have.
Over
yes. What we see, what we hear. Psychology tells us that what we see, what we hear, has a certain projection towards the behavior you shall portray. So it's very important that what we read, what we see, it's really monitored, especially when children are growing up.
And I note that you mentioned that when you took the marijuana, you went to read the Bible.
Yeah.
So does this tell me that you had a background, you had the knowledge of God, even at that stage?
Yeah.
When you was brought up in a family where there was, maybe you were taken to church, or you had that, interaction?
Yeah, I used to go to church at United Church of Zambia when I was growing up, from grade 1 up to grade 7. I was even a boys' brigade. I used even to recite verses. And it's in grade 8 and 9 when I stopped going to church, because something I think just came in me, which was, I started now thinking now a different way. I would say I hated God, because I would say, where is my mom? Because I wanted to see my mother and sometimes remember my mom. And sometimes I wanted to have my father, but they were not there. And the reason is they died. So when I sit down, I was saying, this same God people claim is a good God, he killed my parents and he never protected them. So he's not a very good God. Why has he? So I had all sorts of questions. And for me, I never even believed in God. I would even make jokes about God. And not just small jokes, bad jokes, insulting jokes about God. And people would laugh. And I had no intention to become a Christian. Me, I believed in my intellect. Because I was very brilliant, Aunt Mercy. I was very intelligent. I was super intelligent, and I believed my intelligence will feed me. My intelligence will make me fly nations. So I had nothing to do with God, because God was it was just a false story. Bible was just a false story. So the moment I got when I smoked marijuana, when I went, it was that moment I just went to say, maybe I can be protected when I read this book. So I started reading. The good part is that I found a very good story when I was reading, because the story I was reading was about Bathsheba. When King David committed adultery. So that's a story I was reading in my high state. So after I got better, after the high, I was now sober. had nothing to do with the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't believe in God, and I didn't want anything to do with God.
So in the school, was there no influence of spiritual kind of influence?
Yeah, they used to have every Sunday 19 hours fellowship.
Okay.
Students would go there. For me, I only went there in grade 10, term 1 and term 2. I would even join the team as like I'm a Jehovah's Witness, just not to attend because it was we didn't want. So every time we'd go there, sometimes a preacher would come preach, you give your life to Jesus. Another preacher comes, if you're attending, you give your life to Jesus. So for me, it was a smoke carry. There was nothing to believe in. Yeah.
So, like you've said already that you had a certain, now you belonged to the Gambinos.
Yeah.
So, Bariama Gambinos, were they sneaking the marijuana?
In fact, now I became the champion of the Gambino Club. I became boss, and I was now called Brand Bronx, Brave Brigo, Bonarivex, Geotanks, Jiramafin. Such life. Yeah, it's so regretting. Sometimes I may come today and share like it's a super story, but in it, not everyone recover. That's right. Look at me. Some of my friends were going. I finished my degree at the age of, is it 36? You see, that was when I obtained my first degree, which I could have gotten at the age of 23.
So
this is when I'm doing my master's, you see. And because of poor decisions, I even contracted HIV, lost my teeth. And I could have made proper decisions at that time. Yeah. If had I stuck to the first decision of away from alcohol, away from drugs, I could have been a different person. But however, God is the one who decides. So he used my life to send a warning to anyone listening, anyone watching us, that don't go the life of Brian. Because you will not come and also sit and testify. That's how it is.
Even the Bible says bad company corrupts good morals. So ngatupeze kana bantu amene bali benzelu bantu amene bafuna kuchita vinangu sivizaenda bwino.
Especially there is this especially if you are coming from a poor family like me. I was coming from a poor family. You want to mingle with the sons of ministers, sons of honorables, sons of rich, so that namwebele mimona kwati namoko mufuma ifone fyakufuala bale tupera koveze bala benenga baisa bakufualikako na ulelanga kwati nawe wine kolefuma kanshi
so nacho chine kuti mwalanda ati nacho chila chita influence
that one it's even easier. In fact, it's the one which even made me start, because when some people invited me, I could not refuse. The people abalisa nifya nama tranki yatatu you reason to support to akupenda na mama. Quite as much as I could have, I was also given. I used to have, but not compared to others. Yeah.
So also that influence to kwebati, because you don't have, you have less than the others.
And also decision. I think I didn't have a strong decision. It could have been as a result of being growing up with my grandma. My grandma used to take care of us like my eggs, vidya, taboma, bali tutemwenefye. Parenthood is very important.
Yeah,
absent parent is a problem also. Where especially nowadays parents are working, they don't have even time to see what the children are learning at school. Nowadays there's even a problem now in schools. You find there was this book I was reading, it shows the types of families. They show a male and female and children. This is a family. They show another one at male and children. This is another type of family. Then a child will say, oh, gosh, a man and a man can marry. So parents should also monitor what children are learning in school. Bring your books. Let's see what you are learning. For example, mwana alekula munanko bale yangala nankwe bale isa me bale yangala munanko ba isa. Then 2 weeks or 3 months later umwana panganda mwamuna fe ule isa na meno ta kwata like even insha kwata ne fimishishani camped hello odi family defo yako Jacob. That's a warning again. Ngabala sambo kwangala shani no mwana wandabazo. That's a clear warning that mwana nambo kulubana ku school.
So parents must be alert.
They should be alert.
They should be alert. And what are some of the red flags? Biyo mwingalanda ati mufyasha kaona ichi aziba ati pali chameni chambo chitika kapena mulimo ba wamba ungeneka mu drugs.
One of them is like for example, you always eat from the table. Dinner is from the table. Mwana talesangwa. Alesangwa lionse, but aliko kusangwa. That's a very clear warning, one of them. Second one, secrecy. Mwana talingiro, there's a certain time. As long as mula musungo mwana, ekala munganda, as a parent, that bedroom is not a confidential bedroom.
That's right.
Kuisula any time waingira. Because ula musunga uli. Whether bali 27 years, as long as ekala munganda mobe, munganda mo kuingira. Privacy should begin when that child goes to their own home. Yes. So check their bedrooms. Mukasango tushiki, tumasidzi. Those yeah, those are also warning. Yeah.
Now, points, very good points that are there, not my let's, and because, like you are saying, a lot of parents now, you'll find ukwebati, even in the home, it's like it's the maid's duty to see ukwebati everything is in order for the child. Abantu bali ba disconnected. So tabeshi bano ukwebati umwana opwatampila, ni pati pamena yambira. So for your, getting back to your story, so when you went back to Livingston, kuskulu kulia, mwaingirika Gambinos, now you take over. So tapa lipo point in time ya kwebati, mule tontonkanya kwebati, bambwe abanti. I'm an orphan, niba uncle fie ebale nchitira kwefi. Weren't you ever reflecting, going back, kuganizira po kwebati? Bushefi kwena, fiala chita shani affect family and
I was not reflecting about that. I was thinking, namubu ala mwine, nangunde pepe fiamba, nangunde angala, naba na mayo, I'll still make it. That's what I used to think. And if I got out be fed. So you one day balance. Balance.
So you were at a stage until
you realize, yes, I was kissing. I used to add that delusion and balance, and that's why we tell even people that drugs, addiction, you cannot succeed. There's no one who is addicted to alcohol, as in serious addicted to alcohol and drugs, was prospered. That's how it is.
That background you were coming from, like Kunganda, was there any negative influences? They're actually coming from homes where there's high levels of alcohol. In fact,
where we used to stay in Rhodes Park, this house, it was a shabin. So we'd see people. That's why Liquor Licensing Act, it should even be enforced, because it doesn't allow bars in residential homes.
But nowadays we are everywhere.
In fact, there was a research which was recently done. Every 100 meters you move, you see a bar. That's not supposed to be. And we know they are doing everything possible to see that is fixed, but we call for more reinforcement that the Liquor Licensing Act should also be enforced, because it states clearly that there should be no bar in residential homes.
Yes.
And you find that those bars, ayale sangwa mtuntemba, abalishama spirits mtuntemba, they don't even have licenses, trading licenses. Yes. So we should not wait for the government. We should, us who are in the community, report this to the police and local government. As long as we are going to be waiting, they will just be mushroomy. So we should take it upon ourselves. Let us read the policies, Liquor Licensing Act, National Alcohol Policy, Drug Policy. The laws are very good and clear.
You also mentioned that you had sex at an early age of 17.
At the age of 17,
because of the influence of alcohol.
Yes, the influence of alcohol.
So were you at that time aware in your mind that there are diseases? I can contract maybe an STI or HIV and AIDS. Was there anything, any inkling in you that you would say would have restrained you?
I used to be scared of STIs. I was aware that STIs exist, one. I was also aware that there is HIV, a killer disease, which we can say it's not even a killer disease, because those days it used to.
There was no cure.
Yeah, I was aware. But because I would hear stories of my friends, they would come, I had sex with this. So akumbwa, you see, I had so even me in my mind was, let me try. Unfortunately for me, the first sexual attempt ended in contracting STIs. So it was a very shameful, painful. However, it made me become even a sex addict until God's intervention. I started now, even when I got married, adultery, no fear. It was just something now which caused a lot of problems. Until the Lord came in, that now I'm a husband, married to one beautiful wife, and father of 3 children.
So when did you realize that you needed help? At what stage?
Concerning
the alcohol, the drug abuse, the sex addiction.
I needed help. The time I went to prison, after I was arrested, I realized that I think I would attempt to stay sober, but I was failing. I would attempt to stay sober, I was failing. You stay maybe 1 month, you relapse. On my own, I tried until I went to prison. Then I realized that I needed help, but it was too late I didn't know where to find that help.
What do you think was causing the relapses? For you personally?
The factors. Because I was a problem, a nuisance to my wife then, and also my wife was not understanding what addiction is. So at one time we would quarrel. So now after we quarrel, I would go and drink. Sometimes if I have committed, sometimes I was just happy, enjoying, to just be high. But again, regret. Sometimes I would even say, but you find
you've gone back.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone out there concerning the relapses? How can they avoid relapsing?
Relapse, number one. Me, I'm saying I'm 9 years, 10 months, 17 days, alcohol and drug sobriety. I am at risk of relapse. But to overcome relapse, you need to be intentionally aware, especially when you are in recovery. You should know what triggers you. So for me, I know, one, bar is no-go area. I shouldn't go. I shouldn't go there.
Yes.
Sometimes it can be quarrels with your partners. Sometimes it can be at your workplace, stress, failing to cope up with that daily stress of your life. you find you are relapsing. So relapse is a complex position. It's part of recovery, but it's complex. So usually in treatment and also understanding relapse, or maybe when we come to basics, the science of relapse, we really use what we call individualized treatment plan.
Okay.
So we call an individual, ask an individual what triggers them. Then we give them individualized coping mechanisms to stay sober for the rest of their lives.
So in essence, you're saying that even if, like you are saying, you stayed for 9 years plus,
over 9 years
and to 10 years,
yes,
that you still have to be mindful and watchful.
Too much.
You have to have boundaries.
Yes, too much. You need to have boundaries. There was one time I went in a bar. We were looking for somebody who had relapsed. So the parents invited me to go and look for him in the bar because they wanted me to talk to him. So when we reached that bar, we found women dressed like this. Then I remember that this is the life I used to enjoy. So I had to tell them quickly that because it will start. I'm going to get nala kumbola na mayo nalala bakonokola bati naliupa because kala isa it's relapsing nala senda bana mayo balambo kunshupe nalabe babakashi beno abakashi bandi balafurwa abakashi nga bamfuruira twambukulaka palasti nga bambutuka abakashi I think no kunwafi mamona 10 years in here. So you have to be steady every time.
So what would you say to...
It's indeed by the grace of God.
What would you say to a family abakwete, let's say omwana nangu balume, nowadays nabakazi, you find sometimes it's the mothers everybody in addiction ebakweto wafya. How can you handle it at family level ukwafu omuntu yo? Because you're saying gefefi ni mwamulandati limukwale bati your wife is not understanding because tabeshi befya kuta handle nomba muri shino nshiku kutuma cyashani advise abantu umuntu unganaba kwato umuntu munganda kutuma musenda shani pakuti mumwafuirishe.
It's not a one thing like abapenenga na landa nishibala kwata solution. There's what we call family recovery training. So they can invite us as a family. We go and train them. At least 5 days is enough for that training, so that they understand the patient they are dealing with. Because nangu muntu mwamtola ku rehab, as long as ba family tamupitire mu training you can be even the trigger for the relapse. Family, because family you can encourage and you can also be the major trigger. So knowledge is needed.
It's true.
To handle somebody.
So would you say that even just the encouragement, just something basic that people can work with, you know?
Yeah, the basic one is just understanding. It's understanding that uyu muntu uyu murwele oro burwele walwala bwa ku brain.
Okay.
So frafine umuntu narabeka frafine umuntu kwete a major psychotic condition. Like for example, narwala schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, it's a major mental illness. Pena, lack of better words. Pena. Teti mukonko mundu pene nati iwe ule kutola pa fishara hapo. Can you do that?
No, you can't.
So it's the same with alcohol and drug addiction. Alcohol and drug addiction hijacks the motivational centers, which we can explain it fully nicely. The brain produces chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and there's a certain level they should produce. So now alcohol produces a lot, alcohol and drugs, a lot, such that the brain records, dragi isuma sana eiret panga kumfwa bwino so tre ichaya byonse so the physiology of the brain we call it the motivational physiology of the brain is hijacked by the drugs. So instead of the brain saying you need to go and eat, you need to go and work, the one which tops in that hierarchy of needs is alcohol. Before you work, you need alcohol. Before you eat, you need alcohol. Because it becomes number one, the hierarchy of needs. So that is a brain disorder. So once you embrace that as a family, accept it and understand it, then you stop condemning.
So what you're saying is that the family bafuire okuba involved bonsifye balekita support bafuire okumona omuntu kuti uyu muntu niwo odwala mwanga muntu mwamene adwalira chabe malaria olwo adwala muntu sambera bwino saganiza bwino osati kumuona ati kuyamba omunyoza muntu ati ichi nchosokonezeka chikuba chita chako atamano
ofe tuwe bana ba ku church aba ku church na bena tula because I'm also a pastor.
Yes.
So we share this and say the brain is an organ, part of a human being. So na ye na ila lwala. Tafino muntu nga isa ku church amyeba ati na lwala BP, hypertension. Mula pepa no kubatuma ku hospital te. Na babwalwa bonse. Na bena nga baisa. Kuba pepelera mwa batuma ku hospital. No baba babwalwa bena mule bwabyo okutamfye nguru the whole 3 months nguru kale sha. Because the brain is a problem.
Yes.
So you pray and take to the hospital. So that's the same thing which we also tell the family. That please never condemn people who abuse alcohol and drugs because these have got a mental problem.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I'm able to say
about that.
Mental patients because I also was one of them.
And if you can just encourage the viewers about the hospitals, vipatala nshifya kubatwala ngefini mwachilala under that when you have malaria or you're sick with a different sickness, you take them to the hospital. For mental patients, those that have the kind of issues we've discussed, which hospital should they go to? Because sometimes kulaba stigmatization, abantu bale tina, even like in the times of HIV and AIDS, kwale bati, abantu bale fisa, pantu bale monati, bazani oneramu. So nikuisoko benga batwala.
Yes, especially Chainama is the one which is highly stigmatized, but it's the hospital which helped me. So people are struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, we should take them to Chainama. Then if Chainama tamle for PUTH Clinic 6, there they will also see. If tamle for Clinic 6, even these level 1 hospitals, you just go and explain to them that na buharwe bushupide.
So Muma hospitals, Johnson and Shibali Kwatama counselors, do they have people that can address those issues?
Yes, they have.
Okay, because sometimes people are not aware.
Yes,
they don't know.
They have, unless they fail to address it, then they will do a referral. But they have. In all provincial hospitals and level 1 hospitals, there is a mental health department. They have it. And you can go there and you'll be treated.
Okay. So viewers, you've heard our conversation. Mwamene yaendela tisaziopa kuyenda ku chipatala Chainama ili na ma department. Sikuti once wamene waenda kujati, they are confused, they are mad. No. Chainama is going to help, and at every clinic or the levels they have people that can help. This is where we end up for today, and we shall continue next week with Evangelist Brian Chishimba, who is now a specialist who has studied mental health and clinical psychology, and he's still doing his master's at the University of Zambia. We shall continue with him, and he's going to help us more so that we can know how to walk this journey of alcohol and drug abuse in case we come into contact with it. And we shall come next week again to go a step further, to see that there's a solution. Just as Evangelist has told us, he came out of it, and he's alluding also that faith also helped by the grace of God. See you next week.
Beautiful ashes, I'm rising from the ground again. Dancing through damage, my broken heart.